South of the border, a man who was for many years one of the boys' most famous fans, Pat Nevin. And Pat, worth mentioning tonight, isn't it, in the current climate of football being associated with greed, that Gary Kelly's giving all his money away to charity tonight?
Yeah, I've even heard I've seen the odd snide comment being written, but it's a fantastic gesture and it's a great charity, so he has to be applauded for it. Wonderful.
Now, lots been happening to you since we last spoke. You've resigned, Motherwell's gone into administration, all your players are on the transfer list. What on earth's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you how difficult football is, and the finances are really, really difficult at the moment. I think there is actually great hope for Motherwell, and it is a good buy at the moment. But a lot of clubs are having great trouble in Scotland just now. But it's mirrored in England. Look at the lower leagues in England, huge difficulties down there. I think the biggest problem is still to come. 2 years down the line, the next television deal comes for the Premiership. Then you've got serious problems. And do you think we can see Celtic edging down south in the years to come, playing in the Premiership in a couple of years? Well, I think Celtic and Rangers are both desperate to come down here, and obviously you look at that league there. Celtic and Rangers in the league of their own already up there. They aren't in the same level of all the other teams that are playing in Scotland, and they would love to come down. And financially, it makes sense for them to come down, but I don't think they'll be allowed to come down.
Now, Leeds guaranteed UEFA Cup action next year, but O'Leary spent 93 million since it's been issued. Should they be looking at a top four place? Has this season been a failure for them?
Failure is a harsh word to say, but I don't think it's failure, but I think it's seriously disappointing. I think if you're going to spend 93 million quid, you want to get into the top levels of Europe, so they'll expect to, if not win the UEFA Cup next season, certainly get into the last four.
Pat, thanks for the moment. It's been quite a day for Gary Kelly, hasn't it? Named in Mick McCarthy's World Cup squad, and tonight it's his testimonial match. As we told you, he's giving the proceeds away. He explained why to John Helm.
Gary, can you believe you've completed 10 years here?
Yeah, it's coming up to 11 now. As I say, you never really think about making 10 years. You just look forward to your first game for Leeds and things like that. And to make 10 games and over 300 games, it's an honour to play for such a club.
Now, you've decided to donate the proceeds to charity because of cancer. It's very similar to Niall Quinn, this. Was that something that inspired you, Niall's decision, or was it something you thought of initially?
I said 4 years ago when my sister died that I'd like to do something. If I made 10 years at Leeds United, I'd like to do something in her name and her honour. So the opportunity to get a testimonium and to get Celtic, I said it'd be a great opportunity to do something for the deceased that took her life.
It would have been rather nice for you if Celtic had managed to win the Scottish Cup at the weekend.
Yeah, being a Celtic fan myself, it was a bit disappointing, but I'm sure the lads will get over it and bounce back next year,
And what for Gary Kelly after this? Because people always tend to think of a testimonial. It means you're coming towards the end, but you're still only 28, aren't you?
28, coming up to 28, and as I say, I can't really answer that question. It's up to the manager, but I've still a good few years left here at Leeds United, and I'm very happy here.
Gary Kelly, age 27, talking to John Helm. At half-time, we'll be giving you the chance to win a state-of-the-art Nintendo GameCube, so stay tuned for that. Coming up next, though, it's Gary Kelly's testimonial from Elland Road. The fun is about to begin. Stay with us. Celtic are here in force at Elland Road. The Leeds fans are in great voice too. Talking us through tonight's game, two men who qualified for testimonials a long time ago. Ray Hatton. And first, Jonathan.
Good evening, everybody. In these abrasive days when high-profile football managers spend far too much time scratching at each other's egos, tonight provides an opportunity to put football into its proper context. Life is so much more important. It's in total contrast to the gimme, gimme, gimme attitude of some that Gary Kelly tonight is donating the proceeds of this match to cancer charities. In the decade he's been a Leeds pro, and the 9 years he's been a Republic of Ireland international, I've never heard a bad word said about the Drogheda-born fullback. And the 27,000 plus crowd here speaks volumes about his popularity. Those kids you're seeing have all been touched by cancer, sufferers or relatives of those stricken, and it's so typical of Gary Kelly that he's remembered so many of them tonight. They represent Jimmy's Hospital for sick kids here in Leeds. Lucinda Francis, whose brother Guy was due to be a mascot but sadly died 3 weeks ago, she's standing in for him. Some the friends of others who couldn't make it because of illness: 13-year-old Katie Line, Matthew Richardson and Simon Brown, who's just had a bone marrow op, and he'll be watching tonight at St James Ward 10. Good luck to you all. Well, Gary Kelly's team out there tonight play the club of his boyhood dreams. He remains a Celtic season ticket holder. 7,000 fans have made the journey from Scotland. Those Celtic fans will be delighted to see, of course, the likes of Robbie, Keane in the Irish contingent, Kelly and Harte all named in Mick McCarthy's World Cup squad. It's a strong Leeds United side and a strong Celtic team as well, as the boys from Bakke and Leeds United and referee Dermot Gallagher and his match officials welcome the man of the moment, Gary Kelly, onto the field of play with little Lee, who's age 4, and Laura, his 6-year-old daughter, and Julianne, mum and wife, watching on from the stands. And let me tell you, there are 65 members of the Kelly family here. Drogheda must be empty tonight. The youngest of 13 children, Gary Kelly, a man who made his full league debut in August 1993 and then played 118 games in a row, and a man who lost his sister Mandy to the dreadful cancer 4 years ago. An emotional and special night for Gary Kelly. Let's have a look then at that Leeds United team for you. Paul Robinson, who hasn't made a first team appearance all season, gets a rare start in place of Nigel Martin, who's been kept back for a half-time penalty shootout for charity. His fellow England hopeful Robbie Fowler has a hip injury, and Mark Viduka an ankle strain. So Alan Smith moves back up front with Keane, and it could be the last week to see Lee Bowyer and Olivier Dacourt in Leeds shirt. Liverpool are linked still with Bowyer. Dacourt could be heading for Italy. Heading back after 19 months, striker Michael Bridges and Lucas Radebe, they're on the bench tonight. And Leeds will bring on their old title winner and Kelly's roommate Gordon Strachan later on. But before you think this is just an end-of-season jolly, let me tell you that Celtic are on a mission here. Martin O'Neill has named a very strong side because the runaway Scottish champs want to prove to English doubters they could survive handsomely in the Premiership given the chance. No Paul Lambert, out injured after the cup final defeat by Rangers. Neil Lennon has a knee op tomorrow. Agat, Sutton and of course Val Gerrard long term are all missing. Colin Healy, the 22-year-old left out of the Irish World Cup squad today, has a point to prove. Up front, Larsson will again show what England have to face in Japan. It looks as if they'll be abandoning the back 5 formation. Bobo Balde and Johan Mjallby have had excellent seasons, just 18 goals conceded in 37 league games, with no Lambert, in midfield no Lennon, and Petrov only on the bench. 21-year-old Jamie Smith is given the opportunity in midfield. Larsson and Hartson have 59 goals between them this season. And that formation will also include Gary Kelly's former Irish teammate Paul McGrath in the second half. He says in the match programme tonight that McGrath was hugely influential. Tonight's referee is Dermot Gallagher, who gets a special word of thanks from Gary Kelly tonight. And you know him so well, Gary, having played with him in World Cup 1994, right?
Yes, I certainly do, Jonathan. This game means so much to him. You know, his sister Mandy died of cancer 4 years ago, and he made a promise that evening that when he did get a charity stroke testimonial match, that he would give all the proceeds to 2 charities, one in Leeds and one his beloved Drogheda, and he's made that dream come true this evening. And you can see with the amount of fans that are here this evening, both from Leeds and from Celtic, the high regard that they've got for Gary. He's been a tremendous player for the Republic of Ireland and for Leeds United, and let's hope it's a very good game indeed for him.
Well, those fans there will want to see a good game, because the edge to this game is all the talk about Celtic entering the English leagues, perhaps at Nationwide 1 or the Premiership level.
It certainly is, Jonathan, and what we have seen from Celtic, they've played Manchester United in 2 friendlies this season, and both of them have been very competitive indeed, and I expect that tonight. The fans demand it, and if the warm-up is anything to go by, both sides looked really up for a game of football this evening. Celtic doing their usual huddle before the match would suggest to me that they're going to go out there and treat this game and give it the respect it deserves.
Martin O'Neill champions again, the t-shirts being worn by some Celtic fans in the ground tonight. We're just too good, TWO. Rangers fans won't thank me for pointing that out. They got some sort of revenge in the cup final at the weekend, of course. Leeds United will kick off up front with Smith and Robbie Keane all in white and kicking away from the Reeve stand. But don't be surprised to see Gary Kelly push forward in the second half. He began life here as a centre forward, then pushed out to the right wing. Indeed, in his last campaign in Irish football at Home Farm as a youngster, he scored 37 goals in 1 season. Olivier Dacourt will get the chance to take the first set piece of the evening. Celtic next appear south of the border in testimony for Tony Adams, richly deserved, on Monday at Highbury. And again, proceeds of that game going to charity. This is John Hartson. And now Thompson. Pushed forward by Healy, who will be absolutely gutted to be out of Nick McCarthy's World Cup squad to go to South Korea and Japan.
Yeah, I think he will be. He's played rather well for Ireland on every occasion that Mick's put him in this side, Jonathan, but I think it's just a little bit too early for him. I think there's other players who were ahead of him who've been there for the big matches. Colin's only played in some friendlies recently, and I think just maybe that inexperience was one of the reasons why Mick left him behind.
Spotted by Willie McStay's scouts. Paddy Hillier was the scout who spotted Gary Kelly all those years ago. This is Ian Harte, Kelly's Republic of Ireland teammate, and Michael Duberry. Bit part for him this season, only 7 games at first team level. Rio Ferdinand. Guppy will take the throw in. And this is Momo Syla from the Ivory Coast. Signed from St Johnson in August. And at 25 years of age, Syla, one for the future. Tricky. Certainly nicked. Thompson with the free kick. Hartson got across it, or Larsson got across his man.
I'll be interested to see how Larsson does this evening, John, because when he's been up in Scotland, it's been very easy for him. Now he's going to be up against class defenders at the back. We'll see how good he really is.
Got a record he has in Scotland, 157 goals in 206 Celtic games, 53 goals last season. Syla off Kelly, and Guppy will take the throw in. He hasn't had the best of luck since moving north of the border for Leicester. Missed out on the cup final at the weekend. Syla, Seth Johnson tagging on to him. Larsson. Now this is Healy. He goes for goal.
Not bad, that, John. What I liked about Celtic there, they kept the ball on the floor, didn't they? Trying to play their nice passing game. Got it through to Colin Healy, and I've seen him on many occasions from this distance. He normally hits the target. No one really comes to close him down. Seth Johnson in the end, not near enough to him. He gets the strike in, but just couldn't keep it down.
We spoke earlier about the Celtic formation and a possible centre-back 3 being abandoned. Jackie McNamara seems to have gone in there alongside Balde. And Bobo Balde away. This is a big folk hero now, isn't he, north of the border?
He certainly is, and he got a goal at the weekend against Rangers, didn't he? I think it was to put them 2-1 up, but it wasn't enough. Rangers came back, played ever so well, and probably in the end deserved to win the Scottish Cup final.
Martin O'Neill talking about tired legs. This is Ian Harte. Now can Wilcox get the cross in? Up goes Smith, with him was Mjallby. Comes to Robbie Keane, and still Keane. Now Syla. Wilcox leaves it for Smith. Wilcox once again. And away by Rio Ferdinand. Oh, a mistake by Ian Harte. And that's Hartson. That's the first chance of the Gary Kelly testimonial.
And that was a bad miss, Jonathan, wasn't it? It was a fabulous crossfield ball from Alan Thompson to pick out Smith. Ian Harte just getting caught underneath the ball. But here's the ball here, fully 70 yards across field. Harte just gets caught out of position there, pulls it back well for John Harte. He could have actually taken a touch. I don't think he realised how much time he had in the box. But once again, a fabulous Celtic move. We really are up for this game. I've got to say, people were saying they were tired after Saturday's game, but here, they really have started this game particularly well.
Big debate in the dressing room beforehand as to whether Leeds would wear special numbers for the night or squad numbers. At one stage they reverted back to squad numbers, but they are wearing the Gary Kelly special shirts out there today. And this is Guppy. So you'll see Ferdinand wearing 5 and Duberry wearing 6 as opposed to their normal squad numbers, and Wilcox wears 10 as opposed to 16. This is Seth Johnson. Robbie Keane. This is Harte. Alan Smith. Manfully done a midfield job over the last months. The goals have dried up so badly for him as a consequence. He's only got 4 in 30 games this season. Here he is. I think he's been working very hard during the past month so on his demeanour on the pitch, Alan Smith, because he's a great talent, Ray, but he's just got to calm down. Some of the things he does are madness.
I think he is calming down. I actually spoke to David Platt at the weekend, you know, about the under-21 squad, and he said he's been terrific with them. He's seen a noticeable change in him. I just felt a little bit sorry for him, you know, because he's been playing majority of football on the right-hand side of midfield for Leeds, and then when he plays under-21, he's put up front, and it's a change of position once again for him, and he's not really had too many opportunities to score that goal.
Here he is. Now, what can he do here? Got in towards Bowyer on the edge of the 6-yard area, who leant in rather heavily.
I don't know if it caught his hand there, you know, but once again he found himself in a lot of a run there, Alan Smith. Picked out Bowyer, but just maybe he played it a little bit too hard towards him, and subsequently Bowyer couldn't get his shot away.
Terrific atmosphere. Free kick taken away by Douglas. 27 clean sheets this season for big Robert Douglas. Robinson. Smith climbs with Balde. And it's Thompson to Mjallby, who'll be in the Swedish side to face England in Japan. Now Hartson. Healy. Smith to Larsson. Duberry's there with him. He'll fashion a chance out of almost anything. And he delicately almost floated the shot that deflected wide.
He was very unlucky there, wasn't he? But he wasn't afraid to take Michael Duberry on one-on-one there, was he? Just got away from him. Showed plenty of skill here. Just got that yard away from him. Always going to have a strike, but give Duberry credit. He got back to get the challenge in, and Robinson was scampering across the goal.
Guppy, fine cross to the ball. Hartson was in there. Came off Duberry again. Celtic finished 16 points, well, at the moment, I should say, not finished, 16 points clear of Rangers, and a chasm, 45 points, I think it is, clear of third place to Aberdeen. That's Balde, but Thompson takes it, draws it back. Healy slips it on. Guppy will have the strike from range. Hasn't played for Celtic. Hasn't scored for Celtic, Steve Guppy. Regular scorer for Leicester and Port Vale and so on.
That's the old training ground one, isn't it? You know, the short one to Colin Healy. He slides it first time across to Steve Guppy. I've got to say, once again, no one in the Leeds side closed him down, gave him plenty of chance to get the strike away. And the only thing that lacked was direction and went past the post.
Mjallby. Smith burrowing away at him. Now Thompson down, back to him by Healy. Healy's chance, will it come again for the Republic of Ireland? He's only 22. Bowyer. Will he get his chance for England, or will past misdemeanours rule him out of FA selection? Healy, Syla. Has Guppy available, out of your picture to the left. Dacourt went in strongly. This is Smith. To Larsson, pulling it back to Smith. Eased away by Ian Harte. Smith has Bowyer making the run forward of him, and Mjallby slipped, and he finds Bowyer. But Balde really ate the yards down there, the Frenchman. Big, burly Dian Bobo Balde. Gary Kelly, Leeds captain, as he has been for big games against the likes of Roma and Real Madrid and Barcelona. Skippered Ireland once against Mexico, I seem to remember. Ian Harte.
You've got to see in these early minutes, John, first 10 minutes or so, that Celtic are the team that have settled down extremely well. You know, people saying they look tired in the game against Rangers. They don't look anything like that this evening, don't they? They really do look up for this game. The passing's been very good indeed, the movement excellent. It's the first time I've seen Syla actually play in the middle of the park. Every time I've seen him play for Celtic before that, he was down that right-hand side when Didier Agat has not been fit.
Keane onto Dacourt, I had to stretch. Syla was there. Now Healy, who's seeing a lot of ball early on. And John Hartson, eyebrows raised when he moved to Celtic Park, but 24 goals this season. We'll put the doubters to the sword. Dacourt, there's Wilcox awaiting. Plenty of room here. Jackie McNamara closes. Cut away just at the last moment by Thompson. Smith to Hartson. Back to the youngster once again. A brief loan spell at Livingston, Jamie Smith, in March of, when was that, 2 years ago now. John Hartson, as Syla was dumped, finding Guppy. Bowyer's across there. So too Kelly doubling up. They look for Smith, who had to stretch. This is Larsson coming away from Duberry. Syla. Seth Johnson a little bit slow to close. Well, that was testimonial late season defending.
Yeah, it certainly was, and I think David O'Leary will be disappointed in the first 11 minutes or so, because his team are not closing down whatsoever. They're backing off, letting the Celtic players get their shots. So the only thing so far from Celtic's point of view, none of them have hit the targets. Good play once again. Look how much room Syla's got. Johnson, really and truthfully there, Jonathan, should be forcing them backwards, you know, closing them down extremely quickly. And he just stood off and let them get the shot in.
Well, Leeds will want to win this one. David O'Leary's Celtic fan as a boy. Roy Aitken on the coaching staff, 6 titles, 5 cups with Celtic. Eddie Gray was a Celtic fan as a boy as well. On that bench, David O'Leary used to room with Gary Kelly as well. When he first came to Leeds, I think, from Arsenal as a player. Bowyer. Kelly in space. Guppy across. Smith. Robbie Keane. Wilcox. Bowyer was in there, but no Viduka. Out injured. No Robbie Fowler. Sven-Göran Eriksson will be monitoring that little worry very closely, naming his squad on Thursday. Alan Thompson, Newcastle born. And this is Lanarkshire's Robert Douglas. Hartson beaten in the air by Rio Ferdinand. Oh, Smith, good layoff. This is Bowyer, first time looking for Keane. Balde blocks. Guppy for Celtic against the Leeds side, who lost their way so badly in season 2001-2. 7 wins in their last 20 games. They're in the UEFA Cup next season, but that's not Europe form. Oh, good little dummy by Keane, on to Smith and back again. And Healy again doing so much work. This is a Mick McCarthy sit up and take notice game for him,
isn't it? He certainly is. He's got the opportunity. He's live on Channel 5, and I'm sure Mick will be sitting at home having a look at Colin and seeing, you know, how disappointed he has been. I'm sure he's happy that he is, because it means that his appetite's there. He wants to succeed. He wants to be a winner. And you've got to say, when he was at Celtic, he didn't get the opportunity. Now he's going to say to Martin O'Neill, you know, you've got a few players out. I'm going to be one of your main men for next season.
What an impact he's made on Scottish football and with Celtic. Once again, they've taken the mantle of top dog in Glasgow football. Scottish international, Douglas away. Hartson beats Duberry. Larsson nearly came back to Syla. There's Seth Johnson. His career's hit something of a full stop because of injuries. Seth Johnson, he had a dead leg here, which led to a blood clot situation, and he's played just 13 games for Leeds. Had a rotten time since he joined in October.
He certainly has. There's been a few Leeds players over the last year or so. Harry Kewell was out for some time, wasn't he, John? I think that's been a problem here. David's never really had, I think, his full complement of 11 players who would like to play week in, week out, because they have got some quality players, but never been able to field them, you know, consistently throughout the season.
Paul Robinson, England under 21 goalkeeper away. And the list of potentials to go to Switzerland later on this month on 5 with the European Under-21 Championships. England in the same group as the hosts, and Italy and Portugal. Italy the dominant side of that level in Europe. This is Keane with a shot. Nearly came onto Wilcox, deflected away. And Leeds' first corner kick of the game.
Yeah, not bad play once again from Leeds. They're starting to get into it, and it's the front two really are causing some problems, dropping off the back three, get the ball into the feet, and then they can twist and turn and get at them. And there, Robbie Keane it was with the effort. They took the deflection.
Totally wasted corner kick though. Jackie McNamara steps out and brings it away. 28 years of age. Jackie seems to have been around forever in a Celtic shirt, over 300 games. Makes you feel old when you remember his dad playing. His dad used to play for Celtic and Hibs, I believe. This is Dacourt. Healy again breaks it up. Looks for Larsson. Duberry gets the block challenge in. Larsson wasn't too committed.
I think there's a World Cup coming up there, Jonathan. There's no way he was going to get in for the challenge there, was he? No way he's going to get injured.
Speaks volumes about the quality of Republic of Ireland squad at the moment. If Colin Healy can be left out, and Mick McCarthy was saying today, it's one of the happiest jobs he's had to pick this squad. He's really enjoyed picking it.
I just think Mick's glad he's got 27, 28 players to pick from. There were occasions we struggled to get the 22 when we played in 1994. But now we really have got a good blend of experience and youth in the squad, and it looks well for the future.
Larsson into Hartson. Ferdinand was strong on the shoulders of John Hartson, who took a tumble. Now this is Bowyer. Robbie Keane. Keane jinking infield and still going away from Healy. Alan Smith holds it up, releases now. Keane onside. Just away from Balde.
How about that for a bit of skill from Balde? I mean, because you've got to see Lee Bowyer was in at the back post there, but you know, he just threw his right leg at it and got the ball away from him. Tremendous skill.
Loves to get in those positions, Lee Bowyer. 52 goals he scored for Leeds in 243 games. Good pedigree, European competition level as well. Goal every other game roughly for Leeds. What's your view on the big Bowyer debate? Should he be included for an England squad?
Well, you've just got to have a look at his antics off the pitch, Jonathan, and I think that's ruined his chances, because I think there's no question about his ability on it. You know, he's one of them players who can get your goal out of nothing, and I think in world football it's something that you need, but you know, you just worry about his temperament as well.
Thompson, for the last 3 hours, Elland Road has echoed to Scottish song. You can hear the fans still. Smith, it hit Bowyer on the arm, and the referee says throw in only, or does he? No, the free kick given against Balde's hand. Alan Smith, a couple of yards of space. Healy blocked straight away to Dacourt. A little bit untidy, Healy. Smith. And Gary Kelly to swing it in. It was Howard Wilkinson here who converted him from a centre forward or a right winger at the start of the 93-94 season in a pre-season tour to Bavaria into a right back. He started off, I think it was the second league game of that season against against Manchester City, and then stayed in. Went to the World Cup, what, 9-10 months later?
He certainly did. And he played right back, and I was in front of him, Jonathan. I've got to say, at my stage of my career, I was happy to have someone with plenty of legs behind me, because when I needed him to go beyond me, he was more than willing to do it.
Thompson. Larsson's through the middle, he goes for goal. Oh, what a great effort! What a super goal! Alan Thompson. Magnificent strike. from the former Newcastle and Bolton and Aston Villa player, a league champion with Celtic, and that was the mark of a champion.
Once again, Jonathan, no one closing him down. He's fully 35 yards out there, but what a sweet strike. Robinson in goal, gets across there, but there's no way in the world he's going to stop that. The power and direction is absolutely fantastic into the corner of the net, but once again you've got to question the defensive play of Leeds. No one comes to close him down.
Paul Robinson's waited all year for a slice of first-team action, and then sees one like that crash past him on 20 minutes from Alan Thompson. 9 goals for Celtic in their march to glory this season in 36 games. So how much does tonight's game mean to Leeds? We'll see. Away by Smith. Wilcox with a throw. Ian Harte. Smith. And still. Difficult to get a shot away with power on target. Not the way he was facing.
It wasn't a bad effort really, wasn't it? Because Balde was quite tight to him there, and he's just got away from me. Only needed half a yard, and Douglas done well to get across, because I think Mjallby was in his way when he had the shot.
Big task for David Platt's England under 21 in that European Championship finals. Italy very strong, and Portugal likewise. Larsson's cross away by Rio Ferdinand. Smith. Syla. Out by Harte. The debate will rage on as to whether Celtic should be, and Rangers should be, Premiership sides in England. Are they good enough? Well, the answer has to be yes, they're good enough, and with the spending power they have, big enough to finish in the top 5 or 6.
Yeah, and the fan base as well, John. You think a friendly like tonight, and there's 6,500, 7,500 Celtic supporters at the game. You know, imagine it's the Premiership, wherever their allocation is, they'd be up for it. And there's the ugly side of Alan Smith. I was just praising him earlier, saying he's controlling that temper. He goes in for a challenge with Mjallby, and Mjallby wasn't sure. He showed some good skills, Mjallby. I mean, he's got every right to go for the ball, but it's not the first, it's the second, and I don't think he quite catches him, but it's the reaction of Mjallby. He wasn't happy with the challenge.
Certainly wanted a lot of time on the ball. Mjallby at the back for Celtic there. Michael Owen would have taken note. Offside, possibly through the middle against Robbie Keane. Smith was there with him. The decision probably went against Keane through the middle. From Dublin. Been blighted by problems as well this season. Had an ankle injury early on. Robbie Keane yet to make double figures. And this is Jackie McNamara. Smith with Harte blocking him. Oh, sloppy defending. This is Larsson. Well, Celtic are hungry to prove a point. Leeds United, apart from Alan Smith's challenge, are here for the cheer.
They're not here, are they, to put the challenges at the moment. Celtic are winning every department of that at the moment, and you know, from set plays, when you've got the likes of Mjallby and Balde coming up with Hartson in there, they've got maybe the height advantage as well.
Guppy's corner kick. Larsson with a flick, 2-0. That's what England have to fear in the World Cup this summer in Japan and Korea. Henrik Larsson, a man who has 157 goals for Celtic in 206 games, and a man who will strike fear into the hearts of England supporters.
Once again, it's that man. We've seen that many times for Celtic, haven't we? But this is all about the delivery from Steve Guppy. Fantastic ball in. Alan Smith is the closest man to Henrik Larsson, but Larsson just gets away in front of him. Fabulous header, and Robinson in the goal. No chance. Just look there though, Jonathan. No one on the near post. Maybe, just maybe, if they had someone there, Leeds, he might have got the ball away.
This is Smith now on the end of Michael Duberry's long boom away. He wants to show his sharpness, Alan Smith, as well, with those under-21s coming up. And a couple of goals under his belt. This is Robbie Keane, looks for Wilcox. Bowyer was in the middle, Balde away. Not quite away enough. Wilcox with Bowyer with a shot on the turn, blocked. That's Robbie Keane. And the testimonial man earns the throw in. Smith was too strong for Balde, but McNamara covered up and away. Gary Kelly up to Smith. Good leap between the two centre-backs. Bowyer's cross was dangerous. And McNamara away. Lovely low swinging cross in from Lee Bowyer.
It was a good cross, Jonathan, but I've got to say, Alan Smith's impressed me in the air. Doesn't matter if he's up against Balde or Mjallby, he's won virtually every header. He's got a great spring on him. But Leeds need to get more men in and around the box. There are chances to get in there, but you know, they're intent on just playing little balls into the front man, looking for the 1-2s, and not enough men getting forward.
Smith for Celtic on the counter. Seth Johnson. Part of David O'Leary's expensive team building here at Leeds hasn't paid off yet, but he points out that the likes of Johnson, only 23. Guppy against Kelly. Oh, he's nutmegged him. And still going, but he fouled his own man, and then Lee Bowyer crashed into Gary Kelly. Pat Nevin with 27 minutes played. Celtic look very strong.
Can end the season friendly. Celtic looked livelier tonight than they did against Rangers in the Scottish Cup final, but coming from, Ray called it right, coming from the middle of the field, they're getting shots on target all over the place. Healy first and then Thompson. And Healy, I think, particularly, is playing incredibly well. But much more concerning for England is the fact that Henry Larsson's getting space all the time against Ferdinand.
Now, please get the cross in towards Keane. Dummies it, great strike, Lee Bowyer! Leeds United are back in this Gary Kelly testimonial match.
Fabulous goal from Bowyer, wasn't it? We've seen that many occasions from this young man. Always looking to get into the box. That's what we're talking about. They need players in the box. There, they had 3 players in the box. Robbie Keane lets it go, and it's a sweet left-footed strike from Lee Bowyer. And Brad Douglas in the goal had absolutely no chance with this effort. The way he keeps it down, that takes great technical skill. That good pullback from Jason Wilcox, and there's Lee Bowyer getting his head over the ball, keeping it down, and the goalkeeper had no chance at all with that one.
Good dummy as well by Robbie Keane in there. Knew that Bowyer was coming behind him. Don't forget you can contact Pat in the studio here at Elland Road and Steve Scott for the half-time chat on the website. And the website's address for you, football@channel5.co.uk. football@channel5.co.uk. Ian Harte, appreciate the velocity of the strike. Dacourt, we have a pop as well. Wayward from the Frenchman. Fringe of the World Cup squad, wants a regular place in the side, 27 years of age, will be away from Leeds in the summer.
Oh, definitely. But once again here, this time Celtic guilty of not closing Dacourt down, but you've got to say, John, that wasn't the shot of a World Cup player, was it? He was well off target there. On his weaker left foot, it's got to be said, but looks, as you say, that he's going to be on his way out of Elland Road.
Talking about £9-10 million for him, which you know, you're representing there a £2 million profit. I think that's good business.
It certainly is, and if you think you look at the majority of players that David O'Leary has brought in, the likes of Viduka, even at the back real Ferdinand, he would make money on those players.
Good persistence by Robbie Keane, forcing the throw off Bobo Balde. Here he is again, seeks the run of Bowyer. Balde got the touch, and Ravi Douglas will clear it away. Wonder what he's going to do striker-wise, David O'Leary, in the summer. You know, with Michael Bridges coming back, he's got something of a surplus. A lot of people thought that Kuhl and Dacourt would be away. My understanding is that's not going to happen. So then you're looking at Smith, Keane, Fowler won't go. I think Smith is a different sort of player. Maybe Robbie Keane is the one that could be moved along,
well,
again for profit.
Well, that's right, it could happen. It all depends, I think, how he does in the World Cup. You know, if he goes there and is a major success, David might keep him. If he goes out there and things don't work out, then David might think he's surplus to requirements. But he's got 5 or 6 strikers and he can only play 2 of them. Maybe he will play Smith wide on the right. He's played him there on occasions. But there's going to be 3 or 4 disappointed forwards, and they're not going to wait around for too long in the Leeds reserves.
And the absence of Champions League football realistically means that Leeds have to do business. This is Keane again. Healy, Thompson. Smith back to the former Bolton and Villa man. Started his career at Newcastle. On to Smith. Jamie Smith. They'll be making the run to the edge of the penalty area if they can slip it forward through to him. Now, good long plunging chase for Jason Wilcox. Smith almost getting across Balde, but it was just away by McNamara.
Good defending in the end from McNamara, because he didn't know whether to go to Wilcox early or hold his position, because if you look, Balde in the middle, 2 on 2 1, and in the end McNamara just gets his right foot to it and diverts it by for a corner kick.
Could be the first of the substitutions coming up in a moment. Oh, Mjallby's made a mistake. Away by Smith. Celtic are warming up. Stilian Petrov, the 22-year-old Bulgarian, rising star of Bulgarian football, on the bench. Oh, that's a lovely ball played forward towards Robbie Keane. Around Douglas, but handled it. Great ball up to him by Seth Johnson.
It certainly was. It was a fabulous run as well from Robbie. You see the space in behind the Celtic defenders, but maybe just the pitch didn't help him there, Jonathan. It just skidded off the turf, and he just put his hand to it as Rab Douglas came out. But Seth Johnson here, that's a lovely flighted ball. Good run in behind the defenders. Douglas does well to come out. You can just see his right hand coming up there from Robbie Keane, and the referee Dermot Gallagher gives the free kick to Celtic.
Well, Petrov on for Thompson with 33 minutes played. Had a major part this season in the Cup and near double success. Signed from CSKA Sofia a couple of years ago now. Dacourt. Good opening 33 minutes it's been. Bowyer's crossfield ball headed down by Chucky McNamara. Whoa! Where are you going? Cross shouldn't have caused any danger. Jackie McNamara didn't think it would. Whoops.
Oops.
Soap in the shower, John.
I think he's got the old Teflons on at the minute, the non-stick gloves at the minute, Jonathan.
That's Syla, though. Well, we've had a few efforts on goal. Thompson and Larsson for Celtic, Bowyer for Leeds, and that was Momo Syla.
He's not scared to strike from distance, Syla, is he? I think that's twice he's had shots, efforts at goal there. This one on his left foot, but never in danger of troubling Robinson in the goal.
Smith does that so well. It's up against a bigger man in Mjallby. Holds him off. Balde clears. Balde, you're talking 13 stone 6. Alan Smith, 10 stone 6. Mjallby back there as well. About 13 and a half, I'd say. Larsson. Got a club around the back of the head. Can't see any blood. Ian Harte just a clash of heads.
Just caught him on the side of the head there, didn't he? Yeah, I think he's got a right to go for the ball, but you know, it's definitely a free kick there, because you know it's gone up to Larsson's chest, and in many respects, you know, Ian should have just held his ground. He wasn't going anywhere, Larsson, and he couldn't really have won the header.
Ever since he came into the Helsingborg side as a 22-year-old and scored 16 in his first season. Goals have come naturally for this man through Feyenoord and then Celtic. He's a better player though, Ray, than just a box player.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even his link-up play tonight with John Hartson's been excellent. I mean, bearing in mind John's only been there one full season. I think the two have been terrific. You know, Larsson's movement, you know, they're going to have to watch that England in the summer, and we've seen if there's an opportunity in that box, he's going to put it in the back of the net.
And then there's Freddie to worry about too in his current form. Duberry got a touch. Larsson was in behind Rio Ferdinand, who had to stretch. Well, it hasn't been a grudge match, but it has been competitive. Always seems to be when Celtic come to England for games. Off Larsson on that occasion. I know in the past the Met Police have voiced their worry about them going to London and so on. Well, I do hope that it can all be sorted out on a more regular basis than just a testimonial.
We'll find out on Monday evening.
What? Well, Robinson with a mistake that nearly came to John Hartson, and when it did, he failed to fizz it away. Again a grubber, but flicked on in the midfield by Dacourt, and Keane looks for Smith, and Mjallby will just flick it away. Gary Kelly's cross off Petrov. Seth Johnson hoists it up. Alan Smith arriving at the far post. Well, he went for a very, very tight angle when Bowyer was to his left, slightly backward of square.
I think he was in two minds, to be honest there, Jonathan. But it wasn't good defending at the back post from Celtic. Steve Guppy it was, and you know, he's free there. He really and truthfully should have put it back towards Bowyer, who'd pulled off Mjallby particularly well. You can just see there he's just looking for the little tap in, but he's decided to go for goal, and it was well wide of the target.
Ian Harte keeps it in. Wilcox looks for Johnson. Healy was there. Now Momo Syla. Syla still. Dacourt got a touch off Ferdinand, very nearly to young Smith. Ferdinand elegantly away in the end, and Wilcox looks for Keane. Chucking McNamara across. Dacourt breaks it up. And very good pace to this first half. Last week of the season and all. Robbie Keane, neatly done. Well, unfortunate not to get the decision. He went for it.
Yeah, he did. He put it through Balde's legs, and it looked like obstructions to me.
Seth Johnson from range. Hasn't scored for Leeds yet in his 13 games, a £7 million signing from Derby.
I think it's excellent though, John. They're all having strikes from distances, aren't they? We've seen Dacourt with a shot, we've seen Syla, obviously Thompson shot that flew into the back of the net, and there Seth Johnson on his favoured left foot. But once again, David O'Leary will be disappointed in the fact that he hasn't hit the target.
He'll be planning a long Champions League campaign next season. Came so close this. Remembers how close they were at Juventus in the 3-2 defeat. A team that can beat Porto at home. Rosenborg, who've been so strong in European competition. Pushed Valencia all the way before going out on penalties. This is Syla looking for a return from Larsson, claiming that he was pulled back. Well, they're questioning decisions. There's a real appetite for them here.
And there was good reason why as well there, because Duberry did bring him back there, Johnny. Just pulled it on his shirt as he got away from him. I think in a Premiership match the referee might have even had to have sent him off because he was away.
Gary Kelly with a throw on his Regiments game, going to the Teenage Cancer Society in Leeds and the Cancer Support Centre back in Drogheda. Johnson was clipped by Hartson. The referee allows the free kick to be taken quickly, and this is Wilcox. And still, Gets the corner kick. Went for the dead ball line.
That's his trademark in it, Jason Wilcox. Just get the ball out of his feet, always looking for that yard away from the defender and get crosses into the box.
Harte will take the corner, swing it away. Another Drogheda lad. That's his Steve Staunton, I think.
He's Dundalk, Steve Staunton.
Dundalk.
Road, yes.
Johnson back to Harte. Looked for Keane. Away by Colin Healy. He covers on Robbie Keane. Balde across. Any mistake on that challenge would have been a penalty kick. Went to ground.
Good challenge from Balde. He made it his. He went in there. He knew he had to be determined. He had to be right, and he won the ball cleanly.
Splendidly spirited, I think, the first half. Smith beaten by Balde. Ali Bowyer was deflected away from him. Syla pressurised by Bowyer. That's a fine ball to Guppy. Petrov's away through the middle. Larsson on the far side. Aimed at the Swede. Had the stretch. Still in there. Back to Larsson. Smith in space now. Goes for the cross to Hartson. Out by Duberry. Now Dacourt and Leeds on the counter. Terrific game. Robbie Keane. In the middle, Smith. And Bowyer now pulling away from his man to the edge of the penalty area. Keane couldn't see him. Drives to Johnson. Still on his shoulder. And the shot was wide.
He's unlucky once again there, Seth Johnson. Both teams are really enjoying themselves at the moment. They're both having lots of chances. Good first touch from Seth. Gets out his feet. Drives the ball, but all you've got to see, he just pulled it slightly across the face of the goal there. But Douglas wasn't getting down, and I think he realised that the ball was going wide. But I've got to say, first 43 minutes this game's been played. It's been excellent, isn't it? End-to-end stuff. Plenty of chances. Both teams having a real go. The best thing I could say, the biggest compliment I could pay both teams is that it's like a Premiership game.
Guppy to Mohamed Syla from the Ivory Coast. Steve Guppy from Winchester. And the cross from Larsson, away by Johnson. Beyond Petrov. I think this is his first touch since coming on, Cillian Petrov. Syla to McNamara. Jamie Smith. Ooh. Did the hard part. Was it a bobble? Did he lift his eyes?
No, just a bad cross. I mean, after the bit of skill he showed there, I mean, he left Ian Harte for dead there, went past him quite easily. But then when you're expecting a decent cross, he fires it high and wide.
McNamara's glance back to Balde. Petrov. Is there too much weight on the ball to Larsson? Ferdinand there with him. He'll be on his shoulder in a month's time. Such an important man for Sven-Göran Eriksson, Rio Ferdinand. Bring the ball out of defence, passing centre half.
I think over there, Jonathan, keeping the ball is going to be, one of the most important things because of the heat and humidity. You can't go around at breakneck pace for 90 minutes. You need players who are very good on the ball.
Alan Smith has the ball in his hands at the end of the first half of Gary Kelly's testimonial match. Celtic leading it 2-1. A rasping drive from Alan Thompson on 20 minutes. A glancing header from Henrik Larsson 5 minutes later, and then Lee Bowyer hammering Leeds back into the game. They trail it 2-1 at half-time, and it's been very, very good.
great entertainment, isn't it? The crowd are loving it here at Elland Road. I hope you are at home too. Tonight's all about Gary Kelly, of course. I wonder what he's made of it so far. He's with Bill Leslie.
Gary, well, what a reception you got. Magnificent tonight.
Yeah, it's been great, so it has. Hopefully we can get another goal and then make a game of it, you know. But Celtic look very sharp. So do we at times, but we just get careless at times as well. We got to enjoy it, but we still want to win, you know.
Good competitive game though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, for both teams as well. So I'm delighted for that, and the fans, after them paying money in to see, they're getting a proper game.
And a fine reception for you when you came out.
Yeah, it was lovely. Fans are brilliant and they gave us a great reception, so I'm just over the moon.
Okay, thanks for talking to us, Gary.
Cheers, thank you.
He was right, it's fairly competitive, isn't it? I thought these boys are supposed to be tired.
I thought Celtic looked incredibly tired last week during the weekend. They've made a few changes to the side, and what a difference it made. The young lad Smith looked good. Healy's looked fantastic. It's been a great game from start to the 45-minute mark.
Okay, let's crack on with the emails. Thanks for sending them in, by the way. First one comes from Sarah Miller from Morley, that's near here. She asks, not a very charitable performance by Celtic. They're not here to make up the numbers, are they?
Never ever come down to England and take it easy. They want to show people down here for all sorts of reasons, you know, just for being Scottish. You want to show the English how good you are, but obviously there's the wider thing now that
Leeds are quite charitable here, aren't they?
Well, they're standing off them, and I know it's before the game when they're shooting in, they were getting lots of space. That's a well-worked free kick to get a good shot on target there, well, just off target. Celtic usually just pump the ball in the middle from free kicks and corners, but they were due a goal at some point, and you could see it coming. Larsson's made a great run there, and they've all backed off him, but there's nothing you can do about that.
We were right behind it, weren't we?
This is the angle we were sitting at and watching it, and the keeper's not get anywhere near it, and it's a fantastic strike by Thompson. He's well capable of that, and has done that a few times this season. He particularly looked tired in Saturday against Glasgow Rangers, but he looked very good there for the 33 minutes that he was on.
David Martin emailed us from Glasgow. Hail, hail, King Henrik. Are you sweating yet, Mr. Eriksson? I think the answer is probably yes.
Absolutely sweating. All the way through this game, he's made space incredibly easily against Ferdinand. I mean, he's just taking the mick from there, you know, a little nutmeg. But getting into space, getting into areas, now that's the last ditch one there that Ferdinand's got back. But look at him here, he's in acres and acres of space. You know, and all the way through the game, he's making long runs into areas, and from a corner kick, Henrik's quite fantastic from there, and Scottish defences all through the years have found it. He's incredibly difficult to mark, great at every part of his game, and that's a great header there. Maybe you can't specifically blame Ferdinand there, but he's making plenty of space, and I mean that's almost an embarrassing amount of space there. And as was mentioned by Jonathan during the game, if you're talking about Lundberg as well, I mean that is a big fear for the England team. They're a very, very good team, the Swedes, and Henrik may be the best of them all.
Yes, beware the Swedes, Mr. Eriksson, if you know what I mean. Right, our next email comes from Christian Ellinger. He's from around here too. Pat, I know we've got to trim our wage bill next season and recoup some cash. Who do you suggest we get rid of? Surely not Bowyer. And we agree, don't we?
Bowyer's, I'd say, is just about world class as a professional footballer on the field. And as a finisher arriving late at the box, I just do not think there's any better in world football at the moment. He's a phenomenal player. Whether he feels he needs a break to try somewhere else, but if you're a Leeds United fan and a Leeds United manager, you want to keep someone because it is incredibly important. He always scores goals, makes chances, causes defences problems from running from deep areas. He's impossible to pick up. Wonderful player.
Right, great news, as we mentioned earlier, for Gary Kelly today. He's been named in the Ireland squad. We can have a look at it now. There are 3 Leeds players altogether, both the fullbacks and Robbie Keane as well, Pat.
Yeah, and they're going to have a great chance of going forward. I mean, the group isn't the most difficult group as well, but I think that looks a very, very strong Irish squad, and you just have to look at Healy tonight. I mean, he has played exceptionally well tonight.
He's playing like a man who wasn't picked today.
Yeah, he's a bit angry actually. He's very angry indeed. And I mean, there's a lot of good players there, but I think he's been extraordinarily unlucky, and it's maybe just came, I'd say, 6 months early for him, because I think by halfway into next season, I think he'll be a very, very important player for the Republic side.
Okay, Pat, thanks very much. Now, with the effort, there's a carnival atmosphere at Elland Road, and the half-time entertainment threw up something else for Sven to worry about. Nigel Martin in goal, 8-year-old Leeds fan Grant Klein scoring.
Bad news when the Milky Bar kid scores against the reserve goalkeeper, but it's been a great feeling around here, and everyone's lively, everyone's positive, and it's been a fantastic night so far.
All right, back to a goalkeeper of repute in his time, Jonathan Pearce, and he's with Ray.
Thanks very much, Dave. Well, there are a number of substitutions for the second half for Leeds United. Eric Bakke on, Harry Kewell is on out there as well, and I'm sure there will be more to come. Dominic Matteo is on for the second half for them. Stephen McPhail is on for the second half for Leeds United. David Batty is out there as well for the second period. There's Harry Kewell. Your thoughts, Ray, on plenty of changes for the second half?
I think it was obvious from Leeds' point of view, Jonathan, simply because they haven't played for the last 10 days. They've got the last Premiership game at the weekend, and I'm sure David O'Leary wants everyone to have at least 45 minutes in this game, and I think there's something like 7 or 8 changes out there. Interesting to see that Gary's still out there with his nephew Ian Harte.
Let's go to Martin O'Neill.
Martin, you seem to be enjoying these games against Premiership sides.
Well, we're playing very well at the moment, really well. Obviously, it doesn't make up for the disappointment of Saturday in the cup final. But it's been a long, hard season for the players, and they've done exceptionally well to win the league.
And your message for them for the second half, keep up much the same as the first?
Yeah, we'll maybe make a couple of changes maybe in the next 15 minutes, and we're obviously concerned about World Cup players like Johan Mjallby and Henrik. But just keep it going, and I'm saying.
Okay, Martin, thanks very much. Sorry.
No problem.
Eric Bakke, one of the Leeds United substitutes, closes down. It slips beyond Jason Wilcox. Harry Kewell also on for the start of the second half. Wide to Bakke. Alan Smith has gone off. Robbie Keane has gone off. Seth Johnson also gone off. Dacourt has gone off for Leeds United as well. No Lee Bowyer for the second half. Wilcox, Harte, Kelly and Robinson have stayed on. I think we'll leave it at that, Ray. It's a lot easier. Danny Mills is also on, by the way, for Rio Ferdinand. Dominic Matteo is on at the back. No changes for Celtic for the second period. Rab Douglas. You've got McNamara, Balde, Mjallby on the far side. There, top of your picture, Guppy, the left side of the defence. Healy in the heart of midfield, bypassed. A good charge forward by Jason Wilcox. Glad to see he's got a run because he hasn't had too much opportunity this season, just the 16 games. This is Ian Harte. Gary Kelly's great, made it country level as well. And away off Bakke it goes. Another player who's had his injury worries this season, hasn't been able to play a full part of the campaign, Eric Bakke. And I do think when people write Leeds off, they should remember that.
Yeah, I think they should. As I said, David O'Leary at no time during the course of the season, I believe he's put out his full strength side, and I think if he had, Leeds would have been challenging the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United to the title, because they undoubtedly have got the quality.
Celtic Rangers do come into the English setups. Can they challenge the likes of Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool?
I think it would take time, certainly, but one thing they will get, John, is the opportunity to get some of the better-known players in world football, because they're competing against teams in the English Premiership. They also have the money from the TV companies to go out there and bring in the better players.
This is Dominic Matteo. Bakke to Harte. Kewell making the run. So much speculation about his future. It's my understanding he's going nowhere. And certainly that move's going nowhere. And Jamie Smith will take the throw in. I think when we were talking the first time about Mjallby and Balde, we forgot to mention what a terrific season Rab Douglas has had for Celtic. You know, 50 games, he's conceded 30 goals in all competitions. You're talking Champions League, Juventus games in there.
Yeah, it's been a fabulous season for him, and I'm sure Martin O'Neill is very pleased indeed. He's got a quality goalkeeper in the goal for Celtic. He's done nothing wrong. He's had numerous clean sheets, and it's not always been down to the back players. You know, sometimes you need your goalkeeper to make valuable saves in certain times in games, and he's certainly done that.
Up goes Dominic Matteo. Syla beat him. Hartson trying to squeeze between Danny Mills and also Ian Harte. Hartson getting back at Mills. Referee blows. John Hartson, always rugged in a challenge, has caught Danny Mills. It was late, but it was fiercely competitive, and we'll wonder if they've crossed swords in the past.
Thank goodness it was only a friendly.
Danny Mills, there's a big question about his temperament with the World Cup squad being picked in 2 days' time.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but there's massive rumours that Wes Brown is likely to get the nod in that right back role, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure Danny's really concerned with the way things have gone at the moment. He's not been in the Leeds side because he's been sent off for a few occasions this season, but whenever he's played for England, I've got to say he's never really let them down, and I'm sure Sven will take that into consideration.
Sent off 3 times in his Leeds United career. This is Jason Wilcox, comes to Stilian Petrov. Would be a big turnaround, change in direction for Sven-Göran Eriksson and Tord Grip. Yes, I believe they were at the start of this campaign very firm fans of Danny Mills. Kelly picks out Jason Wilcox. Batty to Harte. Good to see this young man back playing football as well. Just loses possession there, the 23-year-old from Australia, Jacob Burns. Excuse me. Had a knee injury, hasn't played for the first team this season, Burns. Now Batty. Wilcox, Jackie McNamara. Once upon a time, Scotland's Young Player of the Year, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. Batty to Kuhl. Bakke. Batty will see that Kelly has lots of space. Burns. High hoist. Too high for Harry Kuhl, it was out of play. Big season next season for him, Harry Kuhl. You're talking 24 years of age in September. He's gonna be one of Europe's best, one of the world's best. It's time to be.
Yeah, you're certainly right there, Jonathan. But he has had his injuries, and he had that Achilles problem. He was out for some time, and I think it's a shame the likes of him and Viduka are not going to be seen in the World Cup this year, because they have really been 2 wonderfully gifted players. But as you say, it's about time that he started to show everyone throughout the world that he is a top-class player.
There'll always be arguments over who's missed out on the World Cup finals and whether or not the qualification system is as it should be. I'm sure Mr. Blatter will work hard on it. Now, that's Stephen McPhail, young Irishman. Went out to Millwall earlier on this season on loan. Larsson for Celtic. Syla to his left. Hartson also going there. Larsson will go for goal. And they let him come a long, long way.
He certainly did. It was a good run, and showed great determination, power and pace to get away from the defenders. No one really came to close him down, and gave himself 25 yards from goal, no one in his way. And you can see by Robinson's reaction, not pleased with his defenders whatsoever, not to go and close Larsson down.
Got off to a rip-roaring start at international level, scored 5 goals for Sweden in his first 12 games. Since then, though, he's not been a hugely prolific scorer at that level. But this, like Toto Schillaci, could be his World Cup as it was for the man with the rolling eyes back in 1990.
I'm sure England are hoping it's not going to be his year, isn't they? Because, you know, we've seen today he's playing against real Ferdinand, who looks like he'll be in the heart of the England defence, and he got away from him quite a few times in that in the first half there, and caused him some problems.
Batty to McPhail. Gary Kelly, neat triangle. There's only one Gary Kelly is the cry. Away off Guppy. The Celtic fans are singing the name of that man. Been to see them 3 times this season. His wife bought him a Celtic season ticket as a birthday present. That's a tremendous tribute by them.
It certainly is, and you can tell the high regard the Celtic fans have for Gary. They know what a phenomenal player he has been for Leeds and the Republic.
Smith for Celtic, tipping inside David Batty's challenge. That was a very great challenge, was it? And still going. Eventually Harte to Batty. McPhail. Two men left on the Leeds bench who will make an appearance. Lucas Radebe and Michael Bridges, both out for the last year and a half or so, and we gather they'll be on for the last 10 minutes. Bakke will leave the throw, and the man of the moment will take it. Batty waiting square, Harte coming to join him. Wasn't a good ball. Now Smith. Larsson tight to the line. Wilcox don't banded him, back at him well. McNamara away. And his World Cup in '98, Jackie McNamara. Only played half an hour, if my memory serves me correctly, though, against Norway. It was down in Bordeaux. Out by Balde. And this is Mjallby. McNamara looks for Hartson. Oh, he took it early. That's a splendid effort, and that's a terrific goal. John Hartson, what a deft finish. And what a lovely goal.
What a run in the first place. You know, he's got in between. I didn't think he had the pace to get away from him. I got to say from Matteo and Danny Mills, but he's getting between the two of them. And you got to say when the opportunity came his way, he didn't disappoint. It's a lovely ball from McNamara over the top. Gets in behind him, sees that the goalkeeper's off his line. It's a fantastic effort. Robinson scrambling back, can't get to it. And it's no more than Hartson deserves. I've got to say, he's impressed me. His work rate's been excellent. He's put the Leeds defenders under pressure. That was a good run, and it was a terrific finish from John.
He has so many critics, John Hartson, but from the minute he left Arsenal, and when he left Arsenal he was only 22, he scored a goal every other game wherever he's been. Other substitutions, Henrik, Larsson and Hartson, the goal scorer, will go away for Celtic. And two youngsters coming on with big futures. Simon Lynch, 19-year-old, turns 20 in a couple of weeks, and Sean Maloney, who turned 19 in January. Got 8 goals this season from 19 games. Lynch scored 2 in his only appearance against Hearts.
You just get ready 2 terriers, don't you, and Hartson and Larsson, and on comes 2 whippersnappers who are desperate to impress the manager. They've scored against Hearts, as you said recently, both of them getting 2, and I think they're going to show their qualities here this evening as well.
Leeds United, though, have forced a corner kick. They trail 3-1, and Ian Harte will go across to take it. Terrific atmosphere created by 7,000 travelling Celtic fans. Wilcox was nearly on the end of it, tussling back. Well, do you know what, Ray? It really irks me when the Killjoys say, well, we can't have Rangers and Celtic south of the border because the fans, as they did at Wembley that year, will let them down. Well, let's give them a shout and let's give them a try, and let's put measures into practice to allow the likes of Celtic and Rangers to play their football.
I totally agree with you. I think they should have an opportunity. I think there'll be a great addition to the Premiership. They might not go straight in there, John. They might go into the first, but we're down at Tony Adams's testimonial on Monday, and we'll see how the fans react there and see how their behaviour is. But you know, also we've got to give Tony Adams credit because he's also going to give over £500,000 to charity, and I think that's a terrific gesture, and we're going to see more of it in the future. I don't think there'll be testimonials anymore. I think there'll be charity games whenever anyone reaches 10 years service at a club, and I think rightly so, because players don't need the money anymore. They're well paid, it is, in the Premiership, and I think it's only right that they should give the money away.
lower down the scale, of course. I think 10-year service, the player should still be rewarded, especially with the way things are going. Wilcox, as Harte looks for him. Smith will bring it away. I know that Scottish clubs playing in England would raise question marks about the future of the game north of the border, and also what would happen with Scottish representation at international level. I'm sure those problems can be ironed out. It also raised the possibility, if Celtic and Rangers play outside their natural borders in another country, of other clubs elsewhere in Europe following suit. I know that Dynamo Kiev, who are dominant in Ukraine, are desperate to meet up again with the Muscovite clubs.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean Celtic will look at the likes of the Welsh sides, Jonathan, who play in England, you know, and they'll say, well, if it's good enough for them, why is it not good enough for us? And, you know, you look at the atmosphere this evening, it's absolutely fantastic. And, you know, the Celtic supporters are really adding to it, aren't they? They just listen to them. They're here to enjoy it. They're here to win, let me tell you. There's nothing they like more than coming down to England and beating English sides.
Danny Mills. He's 3-1 down. 3 splendid goals too. McPhail stretches. Lone spell at Millwall. Ruined by a sending off. And Matteo's ball out wide gives Celtic the throw in. Maloney. Caught a little bit late, Maloney, by Wilcox. Sean Maloney, what an impact he had earlier on this season in a League Cup tie against Sterling. Hit 4 goals. Now Gary Kelly. McPhail back to him. Petrov to Maloney. Back to Momo Syla. Been lively throughout, hasn't he? A will-o'-the-wisp run-up. That's Maloney with a shot. Blocked by Harte. Petrov to Mjallby. Back to Syla. This is Lynch. Off Danny Mills. Corner kick quite cleverly won.
Yeah, they've played really well, Celtic. They have been very impressive indeed. You know, they've not shown any signs of tiredness whatsoever in this game. Look very composed on the ball, determined in the tackle, and obviously when the opportunities have been there, they've taken them.
Celtic with their 4th corner kick of the game. Maloney's in at the near post. There's Balde, there's Maloney, off Robinson, and scooped in, and Celtic have a 4th, and it's one of the new generation who gets on the score sheet.
I did say earlier, Jonathan, that I think Leeds would struggle with the height that Celtic have got. Once again, Balde, he scored a goal against Rangers in the Scottish Cup final the weekend. Here just shows his strength. Powers back out the way. Robinson does well initially, but look how many yellow shirts are in and around the goalkeeper there. There's obviously one of them are going to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. Young Maloney, and look at the enjoyment when he put the ball in the back of the net for Celtic.
4-1 to Celtic, and Sean Maloney gets the goal. But at last, Leeds United have got something to cheer about. Lucas Radebe has returned to first team action. The 32-year-old, 33 now, who has missed the last year and a half with ankle and knee problems, is back in the first team. Too late to rescue World Cup dreams after 61 caps for South Africa. The former Kaiser Chiefs player has played everywhere along the back four for Leeds, played in goal for Leeds United, indeed.
Fantastic player, John. It's lovely to see him back as well, and you could see the smile on his face. The reaction from the Leeds fans were terrific. They know they've missed him in the last 18 months or so. Been an invaluable player for them. and it's great to see anyone coming back from a long-term injury.
He's come on for Ian Harte, and Dominic Matteo is pushed out to left back. Started off as a keeper, Lucas Radebe, actually, and has played at international level as a stand-in during an injury problem in that position. Petrov. Celtic haven't just come here to compete and win, they've come here to show the English exactly what they can do.
Exactly, that's what they've came for. They've come on to show everyone down in England that Scottish football is on the up. They've got quality players playing up there, particularly for Rangers and Celtic, and they want to show everyone that they mean business. Leeds' problem at the moment, just looking with so many changes, they haven't got enough men up front. I mean, Harry Kewell's a left winger, he seems to be the lone striker, with Eric Bakke coming forward from midfield to help out at every opportunity.
Kewell tries to forage for something. Now Wilcox to Matteo. Back to Wilcox once again. Kewell was in there, so too Balde. Nearly back to Kewell and taken away by Petrov, and Leeds United have a sick corner kick, and I think Celtic are going to make 3 more substitutions. And Jonathan Gould's going to come on in goal for Douglas. There's big Morten Weighorst, the Dane, who's had a rotten time with injuries all season. He's played just the 4 games. Missed most of 98-99 with a cruciate knee problem as well. It's a cross in by McPhail, and Douglas saves. I think Tommy Boyd is the third of the substitutes to come on. Tom Boyd, 72 times capped by Scotland. Didn't play in the cup final at the weekend. And there he is. Chelsea fans might remember it, a brief spell down at Stamford Bridge, then went back to Scotland in the deal that took Tony Cascarino to London, and Boyd comes on for Mjallby. Now, Jonathan Gould, of course, replaces Rab Douglas in goal. Played over 160 games for Celtic. Scottish grandfather, Bobby Gould's son. Bobby and Marge Gould. And on comes Morten Weighorst. Signed for Celtic some 5.5 years ago now from Dundee. Been in Scotland for a decade. And Momo Syla was the man who departed. I've been impressed with him.
He's been excellent, I've got to say, as I said earlier, Jonathan. It's the first time I've seen him play in the middle of the park. He's normally playing wide right, but I thought his movement was excellent. He's always looking to get in behind players and not scared to have shots from distance.
Just the 13 substitutions so far. Kelly looks for Jason Wilcox. We've had a couple of emails in apparently saying, why aren't we captioning all the substitutions? It's because we thought you'd want to do something else before Christmas. Now, Celtic have possession. Guppy, and it's deflected away off Jacob Burns. Biggest roar of the night actually could be when Michael Bridges comes on for Leeds. I don't think Nigel Martin's going to play a part. The night was set up for Paul Robinson to have a whole 90 minutes. And Michael Bridges, injured against Besiktas, blew the Achilles, and when he came back he did a knee. Now this is Robinson. Beaten 4 times. Kelly just steered it beyond Lynch, and Batty, who won't relish a defeat, not in a 5-a-side match, let alone an 11-a-side first-team game. David Batty. Tom Boyd. One back by Mills. This is Batty to Wilcox. Wilcox and Kelly, the only Leeds players who've stayed on. He's going nowhere really. Well, it was unnecessary, Jackie McNamara, because he was going nowhere.
Exactly, Jonathan. There was no need at all for McNamara to come in the challenge. Wilcox was going wide. A positive run from Jason, and it's nice to see him get a full run out. You know, as you say, he's had a number of injuries throughout his career, and he'd be glad that David's given the opportunity to prove himself.
John Gould lines up his defence, and Danny Mills has a poke. Well, it had power. He had actually to stretch a little bit to get across to have a go.
Yeah, just a little bit of crossing, I think, wasn't it, the ball from Harry Kuehl. You just see stretching slightly, but just look at Colin Healy coming out there. That's what you want from your midfield player. Not giving them the opportunity to get the strike on target, putting them off, putting pressure on them. And that's one of the reasons why the ball went wide.
Martin O'Neill really has instilled this win-win-win mentality for Celtic. He's always been like it as a manager. I remember when he was manager at Wycombe Wanderers, they went to London for the six-a-side tournament, their famous old six-a-side tournament, and he was so wound up to win it. Even if I think it took penalties in the end to win it for them a couple of years in the final. Went back and defended it.
It's a great attitude to instill in your players, isn't it? To win at all costs. Go out there and give it everything you've got. Doesn't matter what you're playing. And I know Mick McCarthy's very similar to that. He says there's no such thing as a friendly. You've got to go out there. If you're anyone you're playing against, you make sure you beat them.
This is Balde. Gould now, second fiddle at Celtic, 33 years of age. Petrov, away and McPhail caught him late. Frustrated challenge.
That's exactly what it was, John. It's frustration there. He gave the ball away. Showed a nice piece of skill in the first place, but then gave it away. And Petrov, he has impressed me as well, because at first he was playing in a withdrawing role. Now since Syla's gone off, he's taken over the mantle of the more attacking midfield, and there showed his pace getting away from Steve McPhail, but McPhail brought him down.
Can take the free kick himself. Off McPhail. Oh, Gary Kelly. Well, it's his night. He's allowed that. And he took a bow as well. Burns leaves it for Batty. Back to Burns, Balde away. Well, when we looked at the teams beforehand, I'll just break off because again, little tigerish Maloney may have caught Jason Wilcox. When we looked at the teams beforehand, we thought, well, the Leeds bench is a lot stronger than Celtic, and once you've got rid of your Celtic first 11, that's where the weaknesses are going to show. Leeds with Kuehl and so on the bench, and Bakke and Matteo. And it's not proven that way, as Celtic have also run the changes.
I think mainly, John, because they took off the two main strikers, and I said earlier, they've got Harry Kuehl up front on his own, and he's not had much support up there. In truth, they've not really kept the ball for long enough spells, Leeds United.
This is Matteo. Balde away. Mills. Will it be joy for him in 48 hours' time, or utter despair when he hears from Sven-Göran Eriksson? Oh, well, he was a bit fortunate there, you know, Paul Robinson, on another day, because he was a bit sluggish around Maloney, and he may well have just pushed him. Radebe. Batty into Healy. They are scrapping for everything.
It shows you the work ethic, doesn't it? Even young Maloney, when he, went and closed down Robinson there, on occasions in friendlies, he would have just let him have it, and dropped off, but he wasn't having any of that tonight. He wants to prove to Martin O'Neill that he is a player of the future, and he's getting about his business extremely well. I thought all the Celtic players, I've got to say, their appetite for the match has been first class.
Wonder whether they will ever play football at the Premier League level in England, or whatever level Pat Nevin will be the man to speak to on that. Give us his views. Go to Pat in a few minutes. Kelly with the throw. Looks for Bakke. Now, Balde to Jonathan Gould. Leeds United are ready to send Michael Bridges back in action. This is Smith. Behind the goal, hasn't scored in 2 years because of those injuries. Michael Bridges, 19 months, ripped out of this young man's career, and on he goes for Jason Wilcox. A great war for the former Sunderland striker who cost Leeds £4 million in July 1999 and has 21 goals in 61 games for the club, and at under 21 level impressed, and the injury ripped the heart out of his early career.
It certainly did, and what a fantastic ovation, not just from the Leeds fans who are obviously pleased to see Bridges back, but also the Celtic fans. They know they've had players who've been out for long spells in their career at Celtic, and they just like to see players back playing on this particular pitch today.
And his return, if he can get back to full fitness, means that Leeds United would be able to offload, and they desperately need to do so to generate cash for David O'Leary to sign in different areas.
Well, that's what David, I think, might be hoping for. I still think he will want to keep all his best players because he still wants to attack the Premiership next season. I think he's disappointed with their position this year, and the best way to do it is keep your players, maybe add to it, and then go after the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester United.
This is Kuhl. Blocked by Balde, back to Kuhl, slips it forward. Michael Bridges, chance it, back there in the middle. Karam Balde, nice change, in it comes, oh! Just too far ahead of Bakke. Kelly. Out by McNamara. Batty to Matteo. More substitutions lined up by Celtic. McParland about to come on, 14 minutes to go. Batty. Kelly across there. And McNamara. Back to Jonathan Gould. Young Mark Fotheringham about to come on as well. He made 2 or 3 appearances for Celtic, signed pro in August of '99. John Kennedy, 18-year-old from Bellshill, going to come on as well. So, here we go again. There's Kennedy, wearing 41. McParland. Wallace also about to come on. And your thoughts as he departs on Colin Healy?
I thought he was excellent tonight. You know, I think he was trying to prove a point, wasn't he? He obviously is disappointed not to go to the World Cup. He knows his time will come, and even the subs coming on at the moment, it does show with Celtic, you know, Jonathan, they've got fabulous young players coming through. I've been very impressed with Smith tonight down this right-hand side. Very direct, good pace, looking to get crosses into the box. Maloney and Lynch up front, we've seen that have played for Celtic this season, both of them scoring in the recent game against Hearts. And here you've got the likes of Wallace, McParland, Fotheringham, all coming on, and I think it bodes well for Celtic for the future.
Guppy and Smith finally making their way away, and it's going to be a throw-in for Leeds. Gary Kelly will take it. Pat, just coming to you on that Celtic playing in England situation. What do you think? What's the bottom line?
Yeah, I think there's going to be huge difficulties getting around the red tape. That's the problem. I'm sure they themselves and Rangers would make a huge impact down here. But I think getting round the red tape, there was a vote apparently with the FA Premier League clubs, and it went 20-0 against them coming down because it's Turkey's voting for Christmas, because someone would have to make way for them. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get down there. But there's no doubt that the both teams, Celtic and Rangers, want to get down, and today they've shown by the way they've played that they want to impress everybody in England.
Bridges, lovely touch through. This is Harry Gould! Off the post! Bakke! And Gould catches it.
I thought it was odds on to score here, John, and I can't believe he missed Harry Gould. The ability this young man's got. Lovely ball from Bridges. He's clearly onside, and his pace gets him away from the Celtic defenders. Gould goes down very early. He does the right thing, chips over the top of them. He hits it off the post, and then Eric Bakke following up. Well, he won't want to see that again because he was slightly off balance. But Gould with the first effort for me, I thought he was going to score here. You would have put your money on him. And then Bakke coming in, just misses the target.
Matteo, pursued by Maloney and McParland. This is Lynch. And Kelly. Bridges for England, I'm hearing from the stand. Well, he's certainly looked lively since he came on. And he's got so much time on his hands to restore that career. He's only 23 now. McPhail looks for Kuhl. Maloney looks for Petrov, and again off Batty. Radebe down. McPhail. Will never play in England is the taunt from the Leeds fans. Bakke to Batty. And Dominic Matteo. McPhail turns away from Weighorst. He looks a wee bit rusty. Not surprising. Matteo. This is Bakke. Bridges again. McPhail. Dominic Matteo. Batty has Kelly at the top of the picture. I'm sure he'd love to get in on the act as a striker, as he was when he first came here. This is Petrov. I remember him ever really getting forward for the Republic of Ireland, though. I remember him behind you, as you said, backing you up in New York. What a fabulous night that was in 1994.
Well, I'll remember it very well. But Gary was a fabulous player. He did like getting forward, and many occasions as well, you know, Jonathan, later on for Ireland, he actually played on as a right winger, you know, when Matteo wasn't fit. He was used in that position quite a bit by Mick McCarthy.
Tom Boyd with a throw for Celtic, who through Thompson, Larsson, Hartson and Maloney are 4-1 up at Leeds. Bowyer got the Leeds goal. Certainly sets up a great night for Tony Adams' testimonial on Monday, doesn't it? At Highbury, sort of a unofficial British Championship it might be, though at testimonial level. But I'm sure Celtic would see it as that. Bakke. And away off Weighorst, and a corner kick for Leeds. Arsenal have the FA Cup to brandish at Highbury, and perhaps the league as well. McPhail. Immediately closed though, Batty. Killed him well. And he danced his way into a shooting opportunity. Low grazed wide. Matteo away. Here he comes again. Bridges. After Bakke, who was fouled. Kennedy was the offender. The 18-year-old. Played one game this season away at Hartson. One of 32 Celtic wins in their 37 league games. Just the one defeat just before Christmas away at Petrov. Maloney. Radebe will block. Kelly hoists it square. McParland. Weighorst. McParland once again. And out by Kennedy. McParland elevated to first team squad tonight. It's a neat touch. Matteo. Real cheer for Leeds though in the form of Michael Bridges since he came on.
Yeah, excellent, isn't he? You're only concerned about him. He doesn't burn himself out. He wants to make such an impression on the Leeds fans and on David O'Leary. He's running here, there and everywhere. There's a lovely back heel down the left-hand side there. Good cross in, but once again, only Burns really coming in to attack it.
Mark Viduka out with an ankle problem, and Robbie Fowler has a little bit of a hip injury, so I wonder if he'll get that one league game under his belt this season at the weekend. Michael Bridges against Middlesbrough. Kennedy for Celtic. Weighorst. With under 5 to go. Well, we wanted to see a competitive game, and certainly we did in the first half. David O'Leary's side flooding back to 2-1 down on 28 minutes through the Bowyer goal. And it was only when this little man scored the 4th goal, Maloney, that Celtic decided to ring their wholesale changes and take the sting out of the game. Smile between Maloney and Batty. Again on another day, on another pitch.
A little terror into Maloney. I've been impressed with him since he's come on. Real enthusiasm to get round the pitch, isn't he?
Sean Maloney only 19. 15 substitute appearances this season. Mills to Lucas Radebe. Picks out Kuhl. Good defending by Kennedy. It's a season really Leeds can't wait to see go away. McPhail. Now Batty. I'll give it to Gary Kelly. The crowd, there's a move of expectancy because Kelly was in a little bit of space. And there's a bit of afters. Batty and Weighorst. So there is that little competitive flash in there still.
You never lose that edge, Jonathan. Doesn't matter if you're friendly or not. You know, if you're in there and you're a combative midfield player like David Batty, if there's a challenge there, you go for it.
Mills, and now it's Batty once again. Kuhl's back heel. Matteo to Batty, and there's Radebe. So pluses for Leeds in the return of the South African, and Bridges up front. Tom Boyd away. Now Weighorst. Maloney. Fotheringham. And again, one was fouled. There's another one. Teenager come through with Celtic. Got some good kids.
They're all very confident on the ball, if you notice. They don't want the ball into the feet, John. They're all very happy to play little 1-2s in and around the Leeds players and got the pace to get away from the defenders.
How much is rubbed off from John Robertson, who was such a mercurial, wonderful winger with Forest and Scotland. Hit the wall, Radebe away. Oh, this is Lynch. Mills was the cover. And Wallace was in there with him as well. Now, the 5th corner for Celtic in the game. Also, you've got to talk about the coaching of Steve Wolford up at Celtic. That's an enormous plus for them. Headed by Kennedy, away by Gary Kelly. Does a lot of the first team work. As Celtic come to one of the top Premiership sides, Leeds United, on Gary Kelly's testimonial night. And the Scottish champions romp it 4 goals to 1. Alan Thompson with a rasper, Larsson with a glance header, Bowyer pulled one back for Leeds, then Hartson with a sweet lob, and the Tigerish Maloney on as one of several second half substitutes. Wrapped up a handsome victory here for Celtic. 1 or 2 Premiership sides would have stood up and taken notice of this, and certainly there'll be many a celebration back in Glasgow tonight. Celebrations for the Celtic fans here, and all in aid of this very pleasant, amiable and true professional football. Gary Kelly, very generous on the night, as his defence was. Leeds 1, Celtic 4.
I thought there was some great goals, which was great for the night.
Certainly was great entertainment for the fans.
Yeah, that's what you want, and you want goals. And at times in games like this, you wish the linesmen had, have a bit more common sense and let the forwards give them the benefit of the doubt to create more goals. And I thought the game was played in the right spirit. And Celtic, I thought Celtic scored some wonderful goals. Fantastic.
They seem to enjoy it against the Premiership side, almost like they have a point to prove.
I don't know about that, but as I say, the one thing about them, they're a great club, and they came down to help with a great cause, and to help 2 great charities, and the money will be well spent, and we're lucky ourselves, but they'll go to 2 needy causes which could do a lot of money, and they'll get a lot of money from tonight.
Thanks, David.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Bill Leslie with the questions. Just time to have a look at a couple of your emails. The first one is from Stephen O'Neill from Barhead. Old Firm in England, a dodgy gamble, eh? They could get stuck in this fiercely competitive division, then what? And James Carolyn from Harrogate has a similar thing. Pat, should English clubs be invited to join the Scottish Premier League? Irony all around.
Slightly harsh on Leeds United. They had a few players missing, but I do think Celtic played exceptionally well tonight. Started off really well, and it was no surprise when they went ahead, but I think the goalkeeper was surprised to get one from about 40 yards from Thompson, but it was a phenomenal strike, and they deserve to get a goal out of that one.
And we can't really read much into tonight, can we?
You can read something, and I tell you, both teams are going all for it at the start, and you can also read something for England, that they've got a problem with Henrik Larsson if he's up against English defenders that are going to give him any space at all. But no, I read something to. I think the Leeds United players were going for it tonight, and I think the Celtic fans got behind them. Again, I'd say the Celtic fans and the Leeds fans, they put their hands in their pockets and gave to this great cause, and it was good news all round. And
I bet England fans wish he was going to Japan and Korea.
Yeah, Poole is a player, he should be going. He's definitely one of the best players there is around, and as I say, there is no one better arriving there. That's a very, very hard ball to take, and it's bobbling in front of him. And if we thought it would stop in the second half, it didn't. And that's a piece of pure class from Hartson. He's maybe not looking in the best of shape there, but I have to say him and Larsson together have been an immense duo up in Scotland this season, so much so that Chris Sutton hasn't been able to get a game. But then Celtic bring on the youngsters, and they've got a great young squad, and thoroughly deserving his goal there, Maloney. And they've got very young players, but I just hope they do get the chance that they deserve. They've got so many big players that are coming in at Celtic at a top level. Do these players get their chances that they should get to develop into great players?
OK, well, as you know, tonight's all been about Gary Kelly. Here he is now with Bill and a couple of his mates too.
Gary, well, a magnificent evening. The result, I suppose, not important in the end.
No, but it's still nice to win by Celtic. I'm delighted for the young lads coming on, and the players that they started with done very, very well. I'd like to thank Glasgow Celtic and Leeds United and all the players, and charity match, but it gives these two boys a chance to get back onto the field as well, so I'm over the moon. So great night.
Let's have a word from them. Lucas, great to be back for you.
Oh yeah, it was nice. Great atmosphere, especially from the Celtic fans. I think it's for Kelsey. Yeah, for me it was all worth it, to come on. But it was a good feeling, and I'm delighted that at least I got a game.
Okay, and just a final word here from Michael. Obviously, you're pleased to be back as well.
Yeah, I'm delighted to be back. But I think Gary Kelly will be chuffed on backs. I've been pressing for the last 2 weeks to get on, and he's done his proud. He's given us a chance. But like we say, it's been for a great course tonight, and the day belongs to Gary. So enjoyed it.
Okay, thanks for talking to us, boys.
Thanks everybody.
It's been great fun for all the fans in there tonight, hasn't it? But I bet the Leeds fans particularly love to see Bridges and Radebe back.
Yeah, I think Bridges looked fantastic when he came on. The touch is there, that's fantastic. Obviously, we'll have to work a little bit in his pace to get the pace of the game. But Radebe, one of the nicest guys in the game. Lovely to see him back as well. And let's hope he's ready for the start of the season.
But the final word again to Gary Kelly, who's given all the money away to charity tonight. Good for football, isn't
can't underestimate that. It's a fantastic thing to do, and these games have been laughed at a wee bit in the past, and this was a testimonial game with the right feeling for the right reasons.
It was good fun as well, wasn't it?
Thoroughly enjoyable. Wish they were all as good as this.
Great, Pat, thanks very much. Now, earlier on we set you a question, didn't we? Time to give you the answer and the winner. Which international team does Gary Kelly play for? Well, guess what? The Republic of Ireland. The winner of the Nintendo GameCube is Mark Love. He's 13 from Burgess Hill. Well done, Mark. Now, coming up, the Under-21s European Championship, Switzerland, Italy and Portugal going to charity in a place in Ireland's World Cup squad. Not a bad day, really. Well done, Gary Kelly. See you next time.